This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Oh, no, I mean, we're facing a great football team. I mean, it's going to lean heavily on every single position group, not just mine, obviously. So we're excited about the challenge and echo what Coach Platoon said. You know, having an extra week to recover and prepare for these guys has been great, and we're excited for the opportunity.
Coach, I'll start with one here. Just the physicality of Virginia Tech's offensive line. I mean, where does this compare with some of these groups you've faced so far since you've been here?
Oh, I mean, it's up there. I mean, if not the best one. I mean, they're very physical. What stands out to me, not just how physical they are, is how well coached they are. I think they do a really good job on offense. I think they understand and buy into what they're doing. They've executed literally in every single game. I think they've played well up front in every single game they've played this year. So, we're excited about the challenge, and my guys are really excited. I thought they had good energy today, and you can tell it's on the horizon, and they can't wait.
Let's go to Damien for the news in advance.
Josh, I wanted to ask you about Trayshawn's development this year, and he's a guy that Scott told us a couple of weeks ago he's graded the highest among the group throughout the year, and he plays his gap, plays a secondary gap. He's played he's played inside, and what have you seen in his growth this year that's allowed him to become this multifaceted tool that you guys can use on the defensive line?
I think it starts with your preparation. In this building, he's in here a lot, doing a lot of extra stuff, and then in practice, he practiced the way he plays. He's one of our best practice players. So, you knew, that it's not shocking to me. I knew it was going to come with time. As much as he played as a freshman, he could have, he could have very easily probably started every game as a freshman. If it wasn't for just learning what to do. It's not shocking to me. But it just starts with his preparation, and it's important to him. So you can tell how important it is to him by how he plays, and he's a great teammate as well. So I think that's what stands out to me about Trey the most is, look at Trayshawn when somebody else makes a play. Look how excited he is for his teammates and stuff like that. He plays with a lot of energy. So very proud of him, and he's probably the most dependable guy we've got in the room at this point.
You talked about in camp, how he transformed his body during the offseason so he could play both inside, outside, and he's a guy who's a kind of high motor like Jesse was. He can go and go and go, and how valuable is that to have a guy like that who, with his body transforming and adding that muscle, that he's a guy that you can move around and play, consistently every down?
I think him changing his body is the reason, like you said, he's been able to, specifically on third down. He's not going to play inside on first or second down, but specifically on third down, we're able to move him around and get him some mismatches, potentially on guards, on running backs, on people, maybe not necessarily the weak link, but just somebody that we feel like is a good matchup for him. And allow us to get one of those big boys off the field and then bring in, we got a lot of these good young defensive ends. We can get more of them on the field at the same time too. So he just makes us so versatile, he makes our whole defense versatile. He could easily go play that boundary position if we needed him to as well. That's what he played a lot as a freshman. So, I think him just becoming a durable player. He plays the most snaps of anybody in the room. I think he played 65 versus Southern Miss or something like that. So, so he's just a real passionate kid that plays with a high motor, so it makes us able to move him around.
All right, let's go to John from A Sea of Red.
Coach, you'll be without Steven Sings for the first half of this game against Virginia Tech. Not asking for your opinion on the call, but what was just your message to him after that game and, kind of after that play happened about how to make sure he is able to stay on the field and be able to help you guys when you need him?
Yeah, it was communicated to us after the fact that, the call was debatable. So, if you go back and watch the tape, I didn't really even have to coach him up on anything because he didn't hit the guy with his helmet. So, I guess I really don't have a comment on that because there's nothing to coach him off of. So,
Coach, got a couple minutes left here, but wanted to ask you just about what you saw on the Wake Forest tape with Virginia Tech. I mean, that seems to be the only time that they've really struggled to run the ball. It's the only time Khalil Herbert's been held under 100 yards this year. Was there anything that you saw that they did to kind of take him away, or was it more just Tech having a bad day?
No, I mean, if you look at it, they did run the ball. They ran the ball well. The problem was they turned it over. They threw those interceptions, which ended some drives. I mean, if you look at yards per carry and yards per play running the football, they still ran the football really well. That was the difference in that game. It was just the turnovers. You know what I mean? They were on pace to score a lot of points. They just turned the ball over through, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions, and that was the difference. How can you get off the field? What stands out to me is they have hardly any tackles for loss. They've got to be probably top 10 in the country in tackles for loss given up on offense on run plays. That they're just always falling forward and always moving the ball forward. That's like what Coach Batoon was saying. They're never in these 3rd and long situations, which is why they're a good offense. They're always in what we call choice downs where they could easily run it or pass it. So they do a really good job running the football.